Hey you guys, it's Lynnea. Today I'll be using some of the products from the Simon Hurley Create line to create an elegant, clean and simple Christmas card. So to start off with, I'm going to use the flower garden background stamp. Now this is clearly by the name and by the looks of it, it's floral, but so it's not really what you would think of for a Christmas card. But as I was looking at the flowers, I thought that they looked like poinsettias. So I'm going to stamp them out in a couple different stages here, and then I'll trim them out and use them as the focal point on my card. So I'm really focusing on those two flowers that are on the left side. They're all the same in this stamp set, except the one is maybe a little bit smaller, but I'm just going to stamp them out. I'm using the Bee Sting ink, and I stamped them twice to get good coverage, and then I'm coming in with a finger dauber and some of the Gur ink, and I'm just going to ink up the center of these flowers, and I'll do this a couple times. I think I ended up doing it like 4 or 5 times just to get some depth and dimension. I love mixing red and browns for Christmas. I think it has that classic vintagey feel to it. So once I had those all stamped, I'm going to now focus on the leaves. So I'm kind of looking and I'm thinking that I'm going to use a couple of these leaves specifically. So I'm going to ink them up with Later Gator ink. I'll stamp them once or twice, just like I did before. And then for a little bit of depth and dimension, kind of like I did with the flowers, I'm going to come in with a finger dauber. And this time I will use the Remember Me ink. This kind of gives the flowers a teal look at the base of the leaves. It gives them a teal look, and it just gives a little bit more definition and depth of color. And I really love the way that this green ink and this bluish teal ink work together. So again, I'll use my finger dauber and just ink up right at the base of the leaves where I think that the shadow should be. I'll do this 3 or 4 times, and here you can see that color built up, and it really, really is super cute. I love it. I'm going to use my scissors now and just trim around the items that I want to use on my card. So these 2 flowers, and then also some of those leaves. And actually, as I was cutting, you're going to see that I gravitated more towards one leaf style than the other. I really liked the bigger leaves. But in addition to that, I was looking at the petals of the flowers, and I thought that they would look really good as leaves. They're stamped in green, and the way I'm going to tuck them behind like this, you can't really tell that they are petals and not leaves, so I cut out a bunch of those as well. Now I want to work on my background. So I have another piece of cardstock, and I'm going to stamp the classic flannel background stamp with some Woof ink. I just love the names of Simon Hurley's ink line. They make me laugh and giggle every time that I use them. So for this one, I'm just going to ink up this background stamp, and I'll stamp it down twice. I like to, when I use dye inks, I like to stamp them twice. I find that it helps smooth out the ink and really make it look cleaner, I guess you could say. Once I have that background stamped, I trimmed it down to be a slightly smaller than an A2 sized card. And I'm just going to play around with my flowers and kind of arrange them and the leaves how I want them. I'm going to end up turning my card so that it will be landscape style instead of portrait. And once I do that, I'm going to share with you a little trick that I like to use for when I have arrangements of multiple small little images. And this is straight from the Queen, Jennifer Maguire herself. I just use a little bit of purple tape. And actually, I'm going to use 2 pieces because my arrangement is kind of wide, and I didn't think I could pick it all up with just one width of the tape. So I overlap them a little bit, and then I'm just going to press them down and pick up all of those little bits all at once. So now you can see my leaves are on the back because I guess on the top, because I had arranged them behind the flowers. So I can go in with my glue, and I'm using iCraft Ultra Bond Liquid Adhesive because it's the strongest glue that I've ever been able to find. And I'm just going to add little bits of glue to the leaves, which are right on top, so it's really easy to get to. And then I will flip this whole thing over using the purple tape as a sort of handle, and I'm going to just press that right down onto my stamped background here. And then I can easily remove the tape. You'll see me here, I'm just going to press down those leaves so that they adhere onto the background, but the flowers will come up with the purple tape since I didn't add any adhesive to them yet. So here you can see all those leaves perfectly positioned right where I want them, and I don't have to worry about taking a picture or anything. This is just the easiest way I've ever found to glue down an arrangement of small images. For my sentiment, I'm going to stamp at the bottom right-hand corner. It just says Silent Night, Holy Night. I love this font in the Caroling Squad stamp set. This is probably my most used stamp set. It has a permanent spot on my desk right now. I've used these sentiments and images in a whole bunch of my Christmas cards. To finish off the card, I added some gems in the center of the flowers and then also around the sentiment. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this card. See you next time. Bye.